Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This article that I will feature in this video will show you, I think, how Blinken is thinking. And I think he's a mediocre thinker, or he's a big weasel, which is, he's not an idiot, but he's a weasel. And that's more probable than being an idiotic, as it's like 50-50, idiotic and weasel. I think it's a combination here. They're intertwined, or at least they overlap a lot. So what happened? Blinken comes and decides that the problem created by others, we don't give names here, unless we have to, a problem created by others in Ukraine is your responsibility because we say so. But hey, we have nothing to do with it. We didn't help, we didn't create anything, we didn't promote. Let's see what Blinken has to say towards whom. So, Ukraińska Prawda. Brazil should influence Russia to return to grain deal. US Secretary of State says, this idiot. So, why Brazil? Grain deal? And you're going to see his argument. His argument is, since you are neutral, but if you try to influence Russia, you don't become neutral anymore. You are on our side. Because obviously Russia got out of that one because you, or at least your buddies, did something to them, didn't you? And now you want Brazil to come in and take the, hot potatoes from the, from the fire for you? Yes. This is Blinken, and they did it before. Like Brazil is guilty of the, let's say, enlarging NATO. Brazil is the problem, because Brazil helped NATO, to bring NATO, is guilty of bringing NATO to Russians' borders, which is not illegal, but hey, if you come close to me and you come in my space, I will punch you in the face, right? I mean, I'm not going to let you come and grab me by the balls and react only then. When I see you and I think you are too close, I will tell you. If I have time, I will smack you if you come closer. You come closer, you have Ukraine. So, that's the other one. You had a 2014 coup in Ukraine. Was that Brazil? No. Who supported that coup? Brazil? No. Was Brazil behind that? Or Newland? Vicky. Was she? Then who recognized the new leaders of Ukraine after they conducted that bloody coup in Ukraine? Brazil? Or who armed Ukraine? Brazil? Who signed the Minsk agreements 1 and 2? Brazil? Who did not fulfill its side of the agreement? Who told them, we're going to arm you just with buy time? Brazil? Who discarded the Russians' concerns about the security, national security concerns with NATO being so close to them? Was it Brazil or was it United States and NATO? Who's fighting in Ukraine? Ukraine or Brazil? Ukraine? Not even. Who's supplying Ukraine with weapons? Brazil? And so on. Who's supporting those guys that are in charge of the Ukrainian nation? Brazil? No. And you want Brazil to come over because it's neutral? Let me read you that little aspect of this idiot. Antony Blinken, US Secretary of State, has said Brazil's vote is crucial to bring Russia back to the Black Sea Grain Initiative. No, I think you should do it. It's your duty to do it. But hey, it's about duty. Blinken, in an interview with Globo News, a Brazilian news-based TV channel, as reported by European Pravda, responding to whether the U.S. Secretary of State believes that Brazil's neutral position in the Russian war against Ukraine gives its President Lula da Silva a favorable position to mediate in the negotiations and try to convince Russia to resume the grain deal, Blinken said, in short, yes. So why not Brazil or you try to convince Zelensky of stopping the war? Tell, hey, ceasefire, stop, let's talk. Why not? Is that you're in a favorable position to mediate it? In short, yes, but you won't. So all that thing, you're gonna mediate this, but the war goes on. It's like I give you this analogy or example. Let's say you have a pipe in your house, water pipe, and it broke, and the water comes in your house. Instead of going downstairs in the basement or wherever you go and turn off the water, right, from the city coming into your house, you start say, honey, hey kids, bring towels here. We're gonna just use towels and buckets. Towels, soak them, buckets. The water still comes in, but I'm not gonna take care of that. No. I'm gonna take care of better towels and squeegees and bigger buckets. This is what these guys are saying. No. Brazil, go and bring some towels and a bucket and some squeegees to take care of the water coming in. Because it's your duty, because you have a store. Not because we did what the fuck we did. Instead of going down and turning it off, like the war, no. We keep that coming and we say, Brazil, you that have nothing to do with this, but us, okay? I'm not going to say how that pipe bursted, okay? How it broke. But it has something to do with me, my wife, and my kids. But somehow it is Brazil's store. That's its fault. They should come and give us better towels. This is what's going on over here. Bring Russia to the grain deal, but leave the war. That's the whole purpose. If you stop the war, the grain, I'm guaranteeing you, all the sanctions, pulled back, let's talk about this, will come back to normal, which the new normal, that's what's going to be. If Russians come to the old normal, they're idiots. That's for sure. And the same with the other guys. The other guys will be pushed into a new normal, because their normal is we and you there. Or I. So let's see what else. Quote, I think Brazil's voice, President Lula's voice, is critical, and using that voice to convince the Russians to return to the agreement, that means to do what we tell them to do, would be a very, very positive thing. So Blinken thinks I'm going to use Lula, who supposedly is neutral, right, to do our bidding, which is he's going to turn Lula in a non-neutral entity. Because he thinks that he's right. You're not right. You are not right. Half of the deal was fulfilled in the grain agreements. Half. The Russian side was not. So what are you talking about? You want Lula to go over there and tell Putin, I want you to pay for your car that was not delivered. I gave you this example in a video before this one. I want you to still pay for something that you didn't receive, a service or an object or a goods, some goods. Is that what you do? You're going to pay a mortgage for a house that you can't go in and, live in? This is Blinken. This is how these guys are reasoning. And then guess who's going to be the problem? Lula. Somehow Lula and Brazil's fault that they do not intervene and do our bidding, just bring squeegees and better towels for something that, happened not in Brazil and not with Brazil's actions. This is such a weasel thing. And people will say, yes, Brazil, yeah, you use that and your neutrality and make the Russians what we want them to do. So that means you are our tool. That means you're on our side. What would they do? Why would they do that? If they're independent and sovereign. And so far, Brazil showed they are very independent and sovereign. As communist as Lula is, doesn't really matter. It seems like he's not going to bow down to these guys. But this guy tries to this kind of and then guess what? Guess whose fault is going to be because Russia does not come back and do what these guys want Russia to do? Brazil, because they say Brazil could have stopped it and could. So Brazil's fault. What? No, I think it's someone else's fault for having that pipe broken. Okay, willingly broken. Not Brazil that doesn't want to supply you with towels now instead of going downstairs and turning off the water delivery from the city or wherever you get the water from. Weasel. Blinken, okay? And how can you be on this guy's side? Unless you are very unjust and you think about only your interest regardless of who gets. That's a bad person, okay? That's a bad person. So, anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.